Hey guys, today we're gonna be reacting to World War II Every Day with Army Sizes Enhanced. I'm gonna give credit to Christopher and to Ninja Bros for making this video. Alright, let's begin. So, we begin with, you have Germany here with 1.8 million men on the front, while Poland only has 250,000. Yeah, I'm gonna make this max quality, so you know what, never mind. So they begin the invasion. 5 days in, Germany declares war on September 1st, 1939, the war begins, but the United Kingdom and France joined 2 days after.
This morning,
Poland quickly mobilizes while
the British
rapidly losing men. 220,000 encircled near Warsaw, and 80,000 encircled up here that are now currently being crushed. Now, all I'm going to say is I'm no historian. I am not a historian, but I know quite a bit of knowledge about World War II. Remaining Polish army attempts retreating towards Romania. So what the Polish are trying to do now is they're trying to go down into Romania just to be able to escape. But they are unable to, and on September 17th, 700,000 Soviet troops. The Soviet Union invades Poland from the east with 700,000 troops. So now Poland does give a good fight, but they cannot match Germany's strength plus the Soviet strength coming at them at once. 124,000 Polish encircled. Soviets don't make any encirclements. German and Soviet armies link up, blocking the Polish escape to Romania. So now they're encircled right there, but these forces up here, they have nowhere to go. Obviously they're encircled, and now Warsaw surrenders, but German troops don't yet enter the city. I don't know why. There's 100,000 men right there. Both. Sorry for pausing it, right?
We heard from them.
By the end of that, they partition it. So the Soviets get this, and the Germans get this, and both divide it and stop like that. And now British Prime Minister Chamberlain formally declines Hitler's peace offer because Hitler says, we will make peace with you if you let me have this chunk of Poland. The Prime Minister, Neville Chamberlain, says no to that and continues staying at war with Germany. And after the Soviets invaded Poland, they had to figure out what they wanted to do with that, and that was where the Soviet leaders first got their idea of spreading communism all over the world. And then what they did, Stalin begins demanding that the Finns hand over territory because Leningrad is right here. Right here on the border with Finland. He wants something so that if they invade, they don't immediately have to surrender Leningrad to the Finnish. Partition or portions of Poland are formally inducted into Germany. So some of Poland, the Polish territory, is now made as part of Germany. Registration begins at the United Kingdom to conscript all able-bodied males between 18 and 23. So if you're in between those ages, by this point, the British would be looking to put you into their military.
A state of war would exist between us.
Finland rejects giving land to the Soviets because what the Finnish do is they say, no, we're not going to give up our land so that your little city can be guarded. And the Soviets are mad. Stalin's mad. Hitler escapes a bomb blast in a Munich beer hall, which is weird because if you look at an earlier event, the beer hall putsch, which is technically an attempted coup, was the Munich was where his original was where he attempted his first coup against the government. Yet he has to survive he survives an assassination, where his political journey began.
Tell you now
So
that no such undertaking has been received, and that consequently this country
the Soviet Union attacks Finland in what would become known as the Winter War because it starts in December. Well, it says December 1st right there, but I don't know. Did I click it fast enough? It might have started in very late November. Okay, it's fine. About accurate. So Finland has about 130,000. Well, the Soviets greatly outnumber the Finnish, but the Finnish have gotten used to their winter territory and figure out how to fight against the Soviets.
is at war with Germany.
The Russian invaders begin heavy attacks. Okay, so also I'm gonna give credit to Maps in a Nutshell right here because he some of his videos are in here. So what the Finnish do is
has attacked Finland. This is not a war, but the most ruthless aggression.
the Soviets have over 500,000 men, while the Finnish have about 300,000. But the Soviets quickly invade there. Viborg, I think is the capital of Finland at this time. I don't
On a peace-loving, hard-working, and deeply religious people.
Of the giant
Religious people.
tiny Finland is the latest victim of this unprovoked and ruthless aggression, and its peaceful cities and countryside are soon laid waste by the ravages of the giant bombers whose missiles rain death and destruction from the sky.
Soviets
The world has been deeply moved by the tragic yet noble story of a small nation fighting for its life. Long live Finland! Honor to her soldiers! Up Finland! Down with the aggressor! Until a few days...
because look, they're invading in what is today Russia, but in the time Finland, they're invading from there, and there. So Finland has a lot to deal with, but they've made the Soviets suffer a lot of casualties.
This was a modern city of wide streets and tall buildings.
The Finnish have suffered about 50,000. The Soviets have suffered 255,000. See news there. Destroyed building.
The home of a happy and prosperous people. When the happiness and prosperity have flown, churches are destroyed. Tall buildings broken, the streets filled with wreckage. This is the mark of warfare against women and children.
And then they have to move the border there, so now the Soviets have something to guard Leningrad by this point, and that's the casualty number. Which casualties does not mean death, it just means people that have been injured or died.
At Les Schwab, the best just got better. Introducing the Reputation
Sorry, guys,
2,
for the
our premium all.
I'm gonna get it. Finland agrees to peace, giving up significant territory. And Mussolini promises that Italy will enter the war at an opportune moment. Britain and France make a formal agreement that neither country will seek a separate peace with Germany. So France will not accept a separate peace with the Germans, and neither will the British. So they both have to be at a peace conference. The Soviets want new territories. Molotov speaks about the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Molotov was the Russian, Ribbentrop was German, and that's how they agreed on the partition of Poland. And Molotov speaks about an unsettled dispute, the question of Romanian Bessarabia. Now, Oslo, capital of Norway. Denmark surrendered in 6 hours. And Germany, what they do is they quickly capture Norway's airfield, and then Germany's air superiority. It's where you really see Germany's air superiority begin to fight against the Allies. And obviously, look, they're barely outnumbered. The Germans barely outnumber the and the Dutch and the Belgians. Well, the United Kingdom sent 200,000 men to France while it's mobilized. The French mobilized millions. And so you see that the Netherlands is basically gone. And in this little area right here, 600,000 men and 800,000 men. So this is what the Germans do is they trap them. Now they're trapped because they can't go north because they're German. There's a little bit of German forces up there. They can't go south because there's German forces. And so what the British do is kind of amend it's the Battle of Dunkirk. They use the fire. And the British have to send civilian ships and even civilians to bring these soldiers home. The Germans slowly, and then look at what they do. They encircle a small 50,000 French force that wears down the Germans, while the rest of them also technically the Germans, but they're trapped, and the Germans send a little forces to deal with them. While the rest of the forces are withdrawing, or the reason the numbers getting smaller because either they're withdrawing and going across the channel, or they're dying to the Germans. The Germans, by the end of the Battle of Dunkirk, by the end of it, they lose only about 20,000, which was very little compared to the French, the British, and
we shall fight with growing confidence and growing
the
strength.
French lose a lot of men, and now the Germans. Winston Churchill also delivers his wish. Never surrender speech, but now the French are severely outnumbered, which allows the Germans to breathe
In the
through.
air.
Now, Italy jumps in an opportune moment, and the French have a little bit of men there, only about 180,000, but the Italians sent 300,000. And here's a real German tanks driving through the area, and that's a real photo of Hitler.
We shall defend our island, whatever they come.
Stalin annexes the Baltics. By the fall of France officially surrenders to Germany as they're forced to. And I believe they signed the surrender on the same railway car that the Treaty of Versailles was signed on. Now, if you want to look that up, that was the treaty that negotiated Germany and all the terms that made it let's just say not do too well. Now all of these colonies become what is under right here was technically France, but it was something known as Vichy France, and they got the empire. And all colonial holdings were now part of Vichy France, which were technically just a puppet state of the Axis.
On the beaches, we shall fight on the landing ground, we shall fight in the fields, and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills.
Hitler set September 15th as the date for the invasion of Britain. Now, Hitler makes that date, but he hasn't. But what he first needs to do is he needs to get superiority across the air superiority across the channel. So he needs to wear down the British. But the British...
We shall never surrender. And
because the failure to achieve air superiority results in a postponement of the invasion of Great Britain. Little did Hitler know, his invasion of Britain would never come.
Which I do not for a moment believe.
The Battle of Britain... Luftwaffe attacks
Ireland, or large part of it, was subjugated and starving.
Might actually come true. Oh my God, one of my favorite. So Winston Churchill speeches never was so much owed by so many to so few.
In our empire...
Wait, the Luftwaffe halts attacks on airfields and begins terror bombing London instead. Terror bomb.
Beyond the sea.
And that's what this would have looked like. The bullets.
Preceded by a shower of flares, German bombers rain fire and high explosive bombs in their most savage attack on London. Here again is the blood, the sweat and tears that Nazi warfare brings to the men, women and children of city, town and village. Here again are the same firefighters who face peril and danger.
In the Air Force, we operate as a team of teams. We believe greatness can come from anywhere. With the flexibility,
With the same grim determination and courage.
Armed and guarded by the British fleet, would carry on the struggle until, in God's good time, the new world.
The tripartite pact signed by Germany, Italy, and Japan, an informal name, Axis, emerges.
With all its power and might, steps forth to the rescue and the liberation of the
Albania. And then guess what Romania does? Because they're scared of the Soviet Union. They're like, how about we begin allying ourselves with Germany? Any German invasion of Britain is postponed until spring 1941 at the earliest. And now the battle of Africa has been continuing. And this would kind of be the British push the Italians back, the Italians push the British back and forth. Having started his advance in Egypt, Mussolini decides to invade Greece instead. Hitler is angered by this decision because he knows that he wants to invade Russia. And the only problem is that look at Italy against Greece. The Greek military quickly mobilizes after small talks between Germany and the USSR into a Soviet entry into the Axis. Imagine if that happened. Hungary gets that peace after Hungary joins the Axis powers. And now Greece, what they do is and also Romania joins the Axis, is now the Greek military has quickly advanced into Albania. And Hitler's like, I don't want to send men down to help you because I want to invade Russia. We can't be going on a little side quest thing, to invade Greece because now you're wearing us down by the Greek military, by me having to go help you with Greece. Well, we could have just invaded Russia. Francisco Franco rules out Spanish entry into the war because they just had a civil war. Why would they do that? Their civil war barely ended over a year ago. Begins planning Operation Barbarossa. The Greco-Italian War continues to go badly for the Italians as they quickly outnumbered. Lend-Lease is introduced into the U.S. Congress to start off during the Axis. Hitler doesn't respond. Germany agrees to send reinforcements to Africa. 42,000 Axis encircled.
Never in the field of human conflict
25,000
was so much owed
Italians
by so
133,000 captured. Germany agrees to send reinforcements to Africa.
Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. All our hearts go out to the fighter pilots whose brilliant actions we see with our own eyes day after day. I hope, indeed I pray, that we shall not be found unworthy of our victory if after toil and tribulation it is granted to us. For the rest, we have to gain hope. Indeed, all our hearts go out to the fighter pilots whose brilliant actions we see with our own eyes day after day. I hope, indeed I pray, that we shall not be found unworthy of our victory if after toil and tribulation it is granted to us. For the rest, we have to gain victory. That is our task.
Troops Iraq is being invaded for joining the German preparations for Operation Barbarossa. Now they begin the battleship. Why am I saying British? The German battleship Bismarck is sunk in the North Atlantic by the Royal Navy. And now they prepare with 3.4879 million men. Hitler launches the largest ground invasion in history on June 22nd, 1941. Hitler invades the Soviet Union. Soviets have 2. Oh my god. Minsk Bialystok Minsk quickly falls with 324,000 encircled, while the Soviets start off with 2.743 million men, according to this. Minsk falls 150,000 encircled. Down here, 35,000 encircled. All in all, basically fully under Germany. 310,000 encircled at Smolensk. 39,000 encircled. 103,000 encircled. Now all these are Germans encircling Soviets. 84,000 encircled. 82,000 encircled. Hitler, against the advice of his generals, shipped some forces from the Moscow offensive. That little force is trapped there. You can see Estonia. There's Soviets trapped there. 20,000 encircled. Small encircled. 53,000 encircled. Leningrad besieged. 667,000 Soviet troops encircled in the Battle of Kiev. Iran capitulates. Look at what Russia does. 106,000 encircled. Crimea is now stuck. And they aren't connected to the Caucasus, obviously, because of the Black Sea. It's very thin, though. Now what Germany does is 663,000 encircled. And he's going for Moscow. And now what Hitler does is he takes advantage. And he's like, I'm going for Moscow there. I'm going for Moscow now. And what the Soviets do is they trick him. With another 14,000 Soviets captured. It looks like the Soviets are about to lose. 100,000 captured. And they quickly increase the amount of men. And now the Battle of Sevastopol. Sorry, I'm just saying that. German troops report spotting enemy flags. Sorry, again. The ads, I will get YouTube Premium. Advantage for Harbor and brings the US.
Yesterday,
so now Germany, because
December
winter
7th,
is getting pushed back by the Soviets
1941,
especially trained people with 450,000.
a date which will live in infamy.
Germany begins to lose.
The United States of America
The army continues pushing in attempts to destroy Germany.
was suddenly and deliberately attacked
Stiff German resistance
by
forces
naval and air
Germany.
forces of the Empire of Japan.
Began building up for a 1942 summer offensive in the east. And the Germans are not going to give up. Hitler plans outlines capturing the Russian Caucasus. Use a German attack towards Moscow, moves the southern front. Hitler demands Mussolini send more Italian troops to the eastern front. No matter that, and he does. With over 5 million men. So what both sides do is now they both are getting men. Germany. 170,000 Soviets captured. Major Soviet offensive near Kharkov. Did that say Kharkov? I'm just gonna go back. Mussolini sends 7 additional divisions plus 1 extra, so 8 divisions. Kharkov. They began trying to retake Kharkov. 240,000 Soviets captured. And if I say the Russian names, I will look for battles. Sorry, 23,000 captured. German effort began 95,000. Yeah, 73,000 captured. They're stalling. 190,000 captured. goal here is to cut the Russians off. And cross here connects to the Caspian. So the Soviets are stuck here, and he can use all the Caucasian with 51,000 Soviets captured. He uses a bunch of strength. There is Stalingrad. Now look at this. This is the peak of the... He's in the Caucasus. He's made it that far. He nearly makes... Why does this guy have the textile? So look at that. He nearly makes it. And he just can't do it. He just can't make it across. And he begins losing men as the Soviets put over 6 million on the line. Wait, what is this? The Battle of... Oh, it's El Alamein. The second Battle of El Alamein. A deciding factor of how the war in Africa is going to go.
On to the end. We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
Yes, we have South African forces, people from New Zealand, India, Australia, Greece. Winning in Africa. Liberating Africa from the West. So, the only problem with what Hitler did is his strategy made it, because then after he loses Stalingrad, he attempts to break Soviet lines to Stalingrad that are now trapped in Stalingrad. Let's look at this. Look at how many casualties both sides suffer. Already 3,000 hours into the battle. Now what the Soviets do is they get even reinforcements. Both sides here.
Bewiesen in diesen 3 Jahren, dass wir ein Volk sind, das bestehen kann vor den anderen. Und darum bitte ich dich nun, deutsches Volk, darüber gibt nun dein Urteil ab. Der Welt unterstelle ich mich nicht, ich kann mich nicht richten.
Get to there. They're in Stalingrad, and they would sometimes fight for days over one individual staircase. One staircase. Days of fighting.
За полный разгром немецких захватчиков. Смерть немецким оккупантам.
Oh, shoot.
My brother said to me,
sorry. Oh my God.
Здравствуй,
Going through history. Shout out to you, by the way, and for inspiring me to make this. And credits to you because I accidentally briefly put you in this video. Because look, so now German forces are trapped in Stalingrad. They're in the city. And now what the Soviets did is they're like, you can be in the city, just encircle. The German forces south, that didn't work. So now the German forces are dead. Look at that, 420,000 Germans. How about I just reinforce more? 14,000. Salzburg Luxembourg, Austria, mostly for the purpose of increasing Mussolini's fading morale. Yeah, Mussolini's morale. And so he wanted to motivate Mussolini to continue fighting. And look at that. Germany sent so many troops down there to Africa. War decides that Germany must take back the initiative and regain trust among his allies. Germany attempts to evacuate Indonesia failed. Another step. Axis resistance in Africa begins to collapse. Running for an invasion of Italy. Operation Citadel. Hold on. Captured. Operation Citadel. Germany's attack on the Soviet Kursk salient is set for an early summer begin. As an idea to quickly knock out some Soviet troops. The Soviets, aware of Germany's plans, has plenty of time to prepare Now this is the Battle of Kursk, the biggest tank battle in history, beginning on July 5th, 1943. The biggest tank battle in history. Look at how outnumbered the Germans are, but they're still using their same Blitzkrieg, which stands for Lightning War strategy.
In 4 Monaten haben wir 1,2 Millionen beseitigt. Wir werden weiter angreifen und nicht rasten, bis wir das Ziel erreicht haben.
Now it's a battle. Who can wear the other one down faster?
Да здравствует наша славная Родина, где ее свобода, где независимость. Под знаменем Ленина вперед, победа!
250,000 Axis guarded them. Watch how quickly they become. Technically, this was a plan of the Axis soldiers. Germany sent 2 forces to reinforce the front, and they managed to get 220,000. Resources from Italy as they can. Italy surrenders and Germany stay in the north, which technically becomes an Italian civil war because the king rules the south, and now Mussolini is the former. There's no king. It means the north Mussolini is the leader of Italy. It's civil war. But they get stuck there in Italy. There. Monte Cassino. It takes very long for them. Skirmishes with American and German troops don't go much as far. It's 1944 now. Operation begin.
I'm having an issue with my
with
plasma table.
Again.
Could you please...
The siege of Leningrad. The Germans.
Das ist eine Realität aus Blut und Fleisch. Etwas über 4 Monate regieren wir jetzt. Und wir können mit Stolz sagen, die Zahl der Erwerbslosen ist rund 1,2 Millionen zurückgegangen.
Михаила Бубука. Пусть осенит ваше непобедимое знамя великого дела. За полный разгром немецких захватчиков. Смерть немецким оккупантам. Да здравствует наша славная Родина! Где ее свобода, где ее независимость. Под знаменем Ленина вперед, победа!
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force. You are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you.
Threw the Nazis back to the outskirts of Rome. After 21 years, a free Rome laughs again.
Hold on, guys. Let me go to the battle. The second battle. Oh, man. Let me give credit to Pigeons in a Nutshell as well.
The eyes of the world are upon you.
Threw the Nazis back to the outskirts of Rome.
Because he made the second battle video.
After 21 years, a free Rome laughs again. A free Rome
Now,
speaks.
Rome has been liberated by the Allies. And then 2 days later, this is the only footage we have of D-Day. Look at what they do. Look at their strategy.
You are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months.
Germany, they thought it was going to come at the French city of Calais, which was one that left this.
In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world.
Und dies ist unser unbändiger Wille und unser niemals mehr abzuändernder Entschluss. Es soll aber aus diesen Opfern heraus
Under the command of General Eisenhower, Allied naval forces, supported by strong air forces, began landing Allied armies this morning on the northern coast of France.
The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world.
The German front line entering the French heartland, plus an invasion from the south. So look at this. Watch how quickly Germany collapses. Why would I just reinforce the eastern front? There's 7 reinforcing all fronts. The battle of the Bulge is going to be Germany's last offensive hit. It's going to win the war. The Allies had their struggle with the liberation of the Netherlands. Sorry for the ad.
Congratulations.
The liberation of the Netherlands was kind of hard. Map historical, thank you for the Battle of Budapest. Now this is how the Soviets were leading as the Germans and Americans were now trapped in a huge Soviet force.
Die Fanfare eines neuen Deutschlands,
And the Soviets
das sie
suffered
hier
hard to
ankündigt.
liberate the city.
Der
The Germans
Spaten
never
ist
surrendered.
ein
They were
Symbol
trained to
einer
not
neuen
surrender.
Gemeinschaft
They were trained to
geworden.
fight on.
Russian army will continue its stern offensive on Germany's eastern front. The Allied armies in Africa and Italy will bring relentless pressure on Germany from the south. And now the encirclement will be complete as great American and British forces attack from other points of the compass.
Surrender as the Soviets encroach and encroach. They liberate the city. So Hitler, the only problem with this offensive for the Germans is Hitler doesn't realize this, but he takes basically he uses up basically the last of Germany's like good strength and resources. Like he uses up a good amount of Germany's strength and resources to do this. Stone, he traps American forces, surrender, and the Germans send the Americans a message: surrender or be annihilated. And that is real: surrender or be annihilated. And the commanding officer responds with nuts. And now the Germans.
The United Nations has no intention to enslave the German people. We wish them to have a normal chance to develop in peace as useful and respectable members of the European family.
Fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air.
Further fighting to
We shall defend our island,
Germany,
whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets.
Now, it's not to say that Blitzkrieg strategy wasn't good. It was good, but after a while, it just stopped working because the Soviets, they are 100,000 Germans captured and then they get 40,000 encircled, 130,000 encircled. Germans where they stalled them for a little while. They're on the outskirts of Poland. That is where 90,000 encircled. Now the Western Allies the Germans had a fascist Hungarian government put into power after the Hungarian government stopped. They're like, no, you're going to stay with us and you're going to stay as our allies. That happened earlier, but I just had to, after Hungary finally Italy, technically Mussolini's fighting on 325,000 captured. Now, you can see that the Battle of Berlin is nearly here. The Western Allies nearly get it, but then they just let the Soviets have it. So Germany has 660,000 and 110,000. While the Germans, not the Germans. Did I say that backwards? Yeah, the Germans have 660,000 and 110,000 here. While the Soviets have over 2.3 million. And they suffer hard to liberate. Stalingrad liberated from Mayday. Look what they do is they now move towards the other German forces. And that is
The designated head of the German state signed the act of unconditional surrender of
April 16,
all
1945.
German land, sea, and air forces in Europe to the Allied expeditionary forces
And by
and
May 2nd,
simultaneously to the Soviet
1945, the city has fallen. Hitler's Führer bunker, the place where he spent his final hours. They let the Soviets have it. Mussolini's dead. Hitler committed suicide in his bunker. VE Day, victory in Europe. Alright, that was good. I would just, amazing, Christopher, and also credit to, for the Battle of Berlin. Credit to Maps in a Nutshell again. Okay, bye. I will see you in the next video. Bye.